All right, we're back. Judd'z Budz episode 176. Gretzky plus Brad Hunt. As always, host Spokesy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. Z Hoppy. Hoppy, how we doing?
I like the Hunt poll, so we're good.
Love Brad Hunt. Miss that man. Anytime he did something good on the ice, I was on my feet, fist pumping. Just a very likable guy, very funny, very goofy looking. Where did he go after? Was it Vancouver he went after? He was.
Why did I think it was Colorado for some weird reason?
It may have. I'll double check right now.
I'm
gonna pull it up.
I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, Minnesota to Vancouver, and then the next year he went to Colorado.
Damn it! All right, that's the gap.
Played exactly 100 regular season games for the Minnesota Wild. Fun fact.
You know that they had him ready to go in for game 101. And they're like, no. Well, he is going to be back.
You know, I knew it was a risk.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Oh no, I was waiting for the story. What's the risk?
Oh, literally the cat that I'm watching my roommate's cat again, but she's back tomorrow. It was literally just for I don't even know where she went for the weekend. But he's been asleep under my bed for like an hour and a half for 2 hours, and he's been a fucking lunatic since I've been watching him this time. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bother trying to get him to leave. The second I started talking out loud, I just look over, he's scratching the fuck out of the door, like, get me out of it. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's unbelievable. It was within 30 seconds of us speaking. But anyways, what did you say as I was like, God damn it, this fucking cat?
Oh no. I don't even know.
He fucks everything up.
I'm pretty sure it was just acknowledging that you were right and I was dumb. Probably.
Yep. Obviously.
Well, how many beverages? Several. Won't even sugarcoat it. Several.
I managed to stay in until last night. I went to the drop for a bit, but nothing crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove to myself that I can do it. I also just didn't really want to go.
But then you rewarded yourself by going.
I didn't really want to go Friday or Saturday anyways, just because it's like the college kids are back. And it's, especially the first few weekends, it is a fucking nightmare down there. And it was still somewhat of a nightmare last night, but to a lesser extent. I had my people in the corner, so it was fine. Anyways, Brad Hunt rules, though.
He does. Well, yeah, so we, on Friday night, me and one of my buddies drove down to Winona for just the night because our boy Joey was in town for the weekend, and that's where he's from. And school was just back in session, too, and it didn't seem nearly as rowdy as I thought it would be, but it is just so weird going back to your college town, like 15 years removed, 13, whatever, who's counting, dude. There's a bar that was like kind of known for being like one of the dirty, grungy, like who knows what's going to happen there. And like literally there were many stabbings reported and probably several more that weren't reported. And we're walking past it because we're just like checking out some of the old bars, and it's like a co-op now, like a grocery store co-op, and it just like doesn't compute in my brain. I'm like, stabbings are for sure still happening in there.
Yeah, it's like no, change back. That's not happening.
Confirmed, Drew. Bud King is not a good rink. It is a very bad time. But tell you what, dude, when we were in school, I only participated for 1 year because I care about my physical well-being. There was a league called the Winona Elite League, and it was a full contact men's league.
Oh yeah, just the worst people in the world.
Winona State guys, and then like 20% like St. Mary's kids that went out. It was unhinged. A lot of fun, but like there were definitely guys out there that are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come out here and hurt someone. It's like, that's not how this should be.
That sounds. Those are the worst people in the world. Like, imagine signing up. I mean, I guess if everyone's signing up for it, you know you're getting it. You have to know. Like, you can't be surprised. Yeah. You're not being shocked. But at the same time, it's just like, sounds like a bunch of fucking douchebags who are just like, I'm gonna fight everyone. Hopefully someone on the show sees me. you know?
It was definitely like the minority. Like I'd say like a quarter of the people sucked, like just like bad time.
Mm-hmm.
The rest like were fine. It was whatever, but I wasn't shocked by it. I was more just like disappointed. Like it's okay if you want to go out there and like play physical and like maybe occasionally like deck a guy if they pissed you off or something. Like there was just guys out there looking for that. They just wanted the mess. They wanted
it. They forgot their skates at home. I forgot about that. That's not what I'm here for.
Well, and like I'm a several-time concussion survivor. I didn't need anything to do with that kind of shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
So played it for 1 year. Got like the coolest jersey I own, but that's pretty much all I have to say for it.
Yeah, it really it sounds like my absolute worst fucking nightmare. Like, I mean, it's the fucking insane hardo beer league hockey guys where I'm like, come on. Like, why are we don't really have to do this. Well, I mean, I don't do it. But it's just like my buddy used to play in this league in Boston that was like that. And he was just like he played like he was really good growing up or whatever. And like these dudes are like 45. This is like 8 years ago. So we were like mid-20s, early 20s. And like he easily can get around everyone. But I mean, these guys are literally just going for knees, like, because you're going to get around it. And he's like, he's also 6'5" and was a tough motherfucker when he played. And he was like, if I wanted to fucking put these guys on like long-term injury from their office job, I could. But this is so, I'm just trying to drink beers and fly around the ice and shoot pucks. Like, this sucks. And it was just like a bunch of guys like, oh, what do you think, you're fucking better than me? It's fucking just going after it.
It was one of those leagues too, though, where like they took it very fucking seriously. Like there was 6 quote unquote captains that literally like sat in the stands for a tryout and like they drafted teams. And it was really funny too, because my buddy, shout out Jimbo, he didn't show up to the tryout, but it just showed on his like sheet that he was a 6'3" defenseman from Bloomington Jefferson. They're like, yeah, we're taking him in the second round. Yeah. He's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. Mistake on your part.
I love that. They're like, they're having scouting meetings with their, like, they're at work, like, fucking in a cubicle, just like writing down their draft strat. That's the worst. I hate those fucking guys. Also, I need those guys at the same time to exist so I can make fun of them and feel better about myself.
That's fair.
But he's fucking, yeah, there you go. Cole just said it. Fucking some of these guys, it's literally all they have. Like the second it hits 5 o'clock in the office, they're like, fuck yeah. Getting to the rink 2 hours early. Dude. Showing up at 7 for like an 11 p.m. puck drop, and they're just like pacing in the hallways, dude. Oh god. Anyways. Kind of just like a nightmare. Well, I guess we can talk actual hockey stuff because that's not real hockey. Actually, wait, sorry. There was one other thing. Keep Sid up there though. Did you ever? I don't know if this Twitter account still exists, but there used to be a account that would just do like sick videos of like old Minnesota rinks, and it was like the cool. I forget what the fucking page was called, but it was sick. And some of them that were like obviously out of use now were so fucking unbelievable. I was like, why would they ever, like, there was something that got like torn down too, it's blows, but it was like I forget what that Twitter page is called, but I wonder if it's still out there. But it used to be fucking sick. They would post one new one like every week, and it was like clear they had worked on it for like that whole week. But anyways, that was all I wanted to say. I was just thinking about that word when you said the worst rank. So anyways, if anyone remembers that Twitter page, and it's still
I don't
active.
at all.
If anyone does, if anyone knows it exists, let me know because I want to go back and look at some of them. Sid, I guess, did a thing. On the outline, it says, and I quote, Crosby is an absolute Chad. So why don't you describe that? I watched the video and I was like,
Chad the dad. Does he graduate from Sid the kid to Chad the dad?
Chad,
I like that.
Is that what he is now?
Mateo, nice layup there for me.
Beauty.
Yeah, I actually just clicked on the link like right before Mateo pulled up the picture, and it is apparently a post that has the Team Canada guys up on stage ready to do like a press availability, and Crosby sitting there without a hat on, McDavid and Reinhart are sitting there with hats on. Crosby nudges him. He's like, come on, dude. And immediately McDavid takes his off, nudges Reinhart to do the same. So
Hockey Canada's image restored. Just kidding.
Yeah, fuck what that judge ruled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever heard. I don't even know what Chad means, so I wasn't exactly sure where we were going. But it was like Reinhart was a little delayed there, and then he legitimately, you could see the panic in his eyes. He was like, "Oh, fuck the hat." That's what they're talking about. Yeah, I mean,
internet
Crosby
slang, internet slang. A Chad refers to a stereotypically confident, attractive, and sexually successful alpha male.
Okay, Mateo.
Check, and check.
Fair enough.
Sounds accurate. Guess. Chad the dad. Sure. Here we go.
All right. Not my first reaction after watching that video. But okay.
You need to rewatch it a couple times.
I guess so.
Isha is adding things to our outline. This is a travesty.
I
thought he was just setting up our ridiculous titles. Damn it.
Yeah. Just the most insane. This is a very normal one, actually.
It's great too that Mateo and Isha are just going at each other in the chat.
Yeah.
Debating whose fault it is. All right. Fair. That's all I got.
I don't really know what else to add to that one.
All right. Let's talk Minnesota Wild. We've actually got things to talk about now, which is fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about I don't know, people are acting like super shocked by this. You tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked are you that the word now is that the loosely floated offer for Kaprizov before he actually comes back and sits down face to face with Bill Guerin is an 8x16?
I mean, yeah. I don't think it was very surprising. We pretty much were. I think it's been established that it was like the second they sit down and sign a contract, he will most likely be the highest paid player in the NHL. Like, there's a very good chance that's going to happen. So, and I mean, again, for the 800th time, I think we've actually mentioned anytime we've talked about Kirill and contract, we've always mentioned Leopold literally was like, whatever you want. Okay, do you want? I don't care. You can have half of my bank account. You can have everything that I own if you stay. So, like, it was going to always be a very big number, most likely, especially with the cap flying up again. Like, he's going to be at least momentarily the highest paid player in the league, probably until Connor signs.
Well, that's why Connor's waiting. Let's be completely honest with ourselves.
Connor's just like, I am about to go nuts.
Can you imagine if Kaprizov was the highest paid 97? Like, he waits out McDavid, and he's like, I don't care what he gets. I just want $1 more. And Billy's like, okay, I can work with that.
He's like, I don't. Yeah, sure. I don't care.
Can we sign like a side contract that says you will be with the Minnesota Wild? You are effectively ours for the next 8 years, and we are just waiting on a dollar figure that doesn't exist yet because McDavid hasn't signed.
Yeah, it's literally.
Is there a legal workaround for that?
The contract is literally 8 by Connor plus 1. Like, it's literally like just $1. They're like, whatever Connor's gonna sign for, that's what we'll use as our number. And like plus $1. That's what we're waiting for. But yeah, I think it's not surprising. It's Minnesota, so it's like, yeah, again, it is whatever he wants. Sign him long term. Make sure he stays in Minnesota. Ideally, that whole contract, but like as his whole career goes. And it was always going to make him the highest paid player in the league until Connor signs, unless he somehow figures out a way to do it after. Which would be a very funny move. I don't care what the number is because, like, it's Kirill Kaprizov. It's the best player in franchise history. Like, it is what it is. Like, again, cap keeps going up. Who cares? Like, I couldn't even care what the contract is. If he signs long term, or he just, realistically signs any contract at this point, A+, don't care. Even if he is worth. Even if he fulfills that contract for half of it, don't care. That's a halfway through the contract problem. We'll talk about that in 5 years. Who knows if we'll even be here.
It's a lot better on an 8-year deal than a 13-year deal, right?
Yeah.
Protecting ourselves from ourselves.
We don't know anything about those.
Here's the real question. If we go back to those days, Kaprizov is getting offered like a, what, 16 by 16?
Oh, God. Yeah. Like, just like until death. Yeah, it's a fucking.
He's like, give me a little bit more than whatever Kovalchuk was given.
Yeah. I can't believe that one was so funny. It was like, I'm out immediately. Like,
and then
okay,
just a couple years later, he's back.
Yeah, he's actually back, and the contract would still be going. And the NHL's like, whatever. Like, we don't actually care this time.
Wait, where is he going?
Hammer
LA?
the Canucks.
Yeah, we don't care.
Like, it was literally just fucking. They just didn't care. Like, the NHL was like, don't worry about it, New Jersey. We'll randomly decide to punish other teams pretty hard though for this shit. But don't worry about it. We don't know why we are letting you off the hook here, but
I know exactly why. Who signed him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyways, Kirill, some sign, great. A+, don't care what the number is. Also, it is crazy now that we know how much the cap's going to be going up. Like, just how substantial it is every year. Like, in the next, 4 or 5 years, we'll probably finally see in the cap era someone signed for $20 million a year.
So the one thing though that I don't know if we've gotten clarity on yet, when he signs his contract, what salary cap is he basing that number on? Is it the second the ink dries? Is it what it would be the year he starts his new contract? Can you look forward and say, hey, we're going to have it incrementally increased to match the salary? Like, I don't know what the rules are there.
What do you mean? Like how, what?
You can only have 20% of the cap.
Yeah.
So is that 20% of what it is today? Is that 20% of what it'll be July 1st when he's technically a free agent? Or can it go beyond that even?
The start of the contract. Like when the contract actually starts, that's what the 20% base. Well, I mean, that would be all the rules to that CBA would be when that contract starts. Whatever the CBA.
Well, also the CBA does not go into effect for another full calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
So like the only thing that it sounds like is on the table is whether or not they accelerate the draft rights stuff, mostly because of the CHL to NCAA stuff. Like, what do you do with that?
They're like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
But yeah.
But either way, dude, it's crazy that we're going to see like $20 million per year contracts. Like at some point, like it's funny just thinking about like, I don't know, past 5, 6, 7 years, like any player that signed for like 6 or 7 million, it's like, oh, that's a fucking legit player. Now, like that's basically like third line money, like almost like 6 million. Like it is literally like there's plenty of third line guys or like second pair D that they're signing for 6 million. If you can get your starting goalie to sign for 6 million, you're like ecstatic. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I do wonder what comes of this though. Like, does every player on future deals get an incremental increase, or is it going to be, hey, big dogs are going to get the bank and then everyone else is going to get like a nominal increase? But like when we're talking about third line guys, they're basically making what they make now, and all of the money is going to go to the top rather than like fourth liners and third liners making more. I'm curious to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's kind of just going to be like, I mean, I guess it'll depend team by team. That's the other thing too with the salary cap is like, is it going to be bad for parity? You know, like, is it just going to end up being like there's a handful of teams that can even like have any chance of competing? Like, I don't know. Like, that's been a topic that people have talked about before too. It feels fairly likely, like, unless some of those like teams like Columbus can start throwing like $25 million at people for like a 1 or 2 year thing. Kind of like just a different version of what they did, like Columbus, when they somehow went out and like actually bought that year at the deadline. They made the playoffs and it like kind of worked out. They won a round and whatever, like stuff like that. I don't know. But I feel like we need more short-term deals.
Baseball. Does it become baseball?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would wonder too if there's like, I mean, well, like they just decided to like do the 6 and 7 year deals, like cut down like the term or whatever. But like you would, if it's going to go up so much every year, like or the first few years, you could see probably guys they're realistically, I guess the top guys, a lot of them do want to sign like 5 years as is right now, just so they can just keep hammering out like contracts as the cap goes up. Because I mean, it used to be maybe it goes up 1 million, maybe it goes up 1.5, but it's like, all right, whatever. Like, hopefully you time it so when the next one comes in, the salary cap has made like $5 million more than when you signed originally. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what it does. But again, it's just weird thinking about like someone on your second line that you're like in today's NHL is like, that's gonna be really hard to keep that guy. But like a hometown discount might be like a 7-year, $8 million. It's like that guy took a fucking hometown discount to stay here because there's just going to be so much more money. So it's going to be weird to see what it does, I guess. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I mean, the guy should be getting paid. So that's fine. More like whatever. I hope they all get paid.
More money, less problems.
Ideally. What else?
From Cole, hypothetically, if a guy like Thompson goes on the market, who would Billy send to Buffalo to make that happen? I mean, the short answer is not Boldy, Faber, Bouya.
Right.
But the longer answer is, what's the market for him? Has he like outwardly demanded a trade and said that he won't stay there? Like, what are the conditions under which he's being moved, and are other people ponying up bigger offers? Like, I think Billy would give up most things to get a guy like that, whether he's a center or a winger. But that's just, there's a lot of caveats that go with just the nature of him being traded from Buffalo that I think impact what you'd have to give up.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy now because I remember when he signed that ticket, like it was obviously like a year after he really popped, like for the first time, and now it's like, oh, that's a big number, like let's see if he can replicate it. And he basically has replicated these numbers year after year, but now when he signed it was like, that's a big deal, and now it's like a $7.14 million cap hit until 2030. Give me that fucker guy.
Would you also
a week? Holy shit.
Would you agree that general like public sentiment has been that he's kind of underperformed and he's still fucking putting up those numbers?
It is, yeah, because I remember there was a little bit of that last year, but I think it was just like a really rough start. But I mean, and he ends up finishing the year with 44 goals. It was the year before, like the 2023-24 season was they put up like a bad year on one of the worst fucking hockey teams on the fucking planet.
Right.
But I think he had 2 years ago, it was 29 goals, 56 points, and 71 games, and that was literally like the one down year he's had since signing that deal. Like he's had 38 goals, 47 goals, 29 goals, 44 goals. So, I mean, and now again, just thinking about what he signed, the conversation like, oh, you better hope that you can fucking replicate it. And now it's a $7.14 million through fucking 2030. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. Bargain.
To Cole's point here, he says like a Tkachuk from Calgary. I don't think it's at all comparable to that.
No.
Tkachuk was a way bigger fish to go out and grab. But I can absolutely see there being some level of bidding war for teams that are desperate for size down the middle and that level of skill. Like, I could see a decent haul if it's played right. And if it's not, again, if Pagula's got a gun to his head, like, you got to trade this guy, you're not going to get the same return. That's just kind of the nature. I think Calgary made out differently because Tkachuk is a different tier of player. But
yeah, and I mean, also it is interesting. I mean, like, just based on how badly the Wild bundled their like treating of like how they went about like trying to trade Marco Rossi or whatever. It is interesting now to see like what our future big trade package is going to look like. Is it going to be like, no, we don't really care about draft picks anymore? Is it going to be like, we want like players that can play right now, and that's pretty much like, is it going to be like more hockey trades, but in that regard or whatever? Or is it just going to be like, yeah, like whatever, current guys that can play right now, but like a way higher demand on like a younger promising prospect versus the draft picks? Like, that's the thing. I just like, I wonder with where we're going here with the salary cap if there's just less emphasis on like acquiring lots of draft picks and trades. I don't know, but
what would be more shocking at this point if Tage Thompson played fourth line center for the Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs, or the Buffalo Sabres just being in the playoffs?
God, that just gave me. I there is a world where the Sabres just never make the playoffs again. Like, I mean, they're absolutely
honestly, but
it's
I would
unbelievable how the script stays the same every fucking. It is legitimately unbelievable that it's the same thing every fucking year. Except I think the one difference this year was like they sucked from day one, but it was just 82 games of absolute shit.
And I'm still like everyone point and laugh at me, but like I'd be 0% shocked if they made the playoffs this year. Like they've got a good enough roster, and the East is pretty open. Like I don't know.
Yeah, who fuck knows, dude? But yeah. What other wild stuff we have? I actually did.
So line combos. Very interesting to hear Russo give pretty firm indications that Boldy and Tarasenko is likely the thing.
Yeah.
And decent chance that Rossi's the center there.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the line that I don't want to see of Kaprizov, Ek, and Zuccarello is pretty much penciled in to happen, unless you think Yurov is going to be the guy that slots in there, and then Ek being your 3C actually makes me very, very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, maybe it was last week we talked about this too. There's only a couple of actual questions that I'm pretty confident that, they're probably going to roll out that like Kaprizov, Ek, Zuccarello line, which I think we were both on the same page, not what we want. It was really like, are they going to go back to throwing Rossi there, which was working at the start of the year last year before literally everyone got hurt and they were cooking. Because I mean, I think at this point, it's pretty clear that like we are going to be having Zuccarello, Kaprizov tied together. Tarasenko, Boldy. Sounds like that's what they really want. It's really are they going to flip those two centers? Like, is that because again we saw what it looked like early in the year. It was awesome, and then again the entire fucking roster, not named Marco Rossi, got hurt. And then again, like the only other real question is like, what does Yurov look like? Because I mean, he could be the wild card where it's like, hey, if he really pops and you feel comfortable throwing him in your top 6 at center, that's a long shot like out of the gate for me. Potentially, like as he gets more comfortable in the NHL as the season goes on, potentially. But yeah, if you could have that third line of Foligno, Ek, Hartman, that is very fun. And just, God, imagine playing against them for more than like 2 minutes. That would fucking suck.
That'd be
but
terrible.
Like realistically, those are just the only real question marks I have really going into this as far as the forward lines go. Because that like, as you keep thinking about it, there's just no fucking way that like Ogren's gonna be on this team day one of camp. Like I just don't see it unless you're really comfortable with has like a 13 forward or like swapping in and out with fucking like Marcus Johansson, which sounds stupid. Like that's just a bad idea to me. Like it's the same thing where it's like, hey, do you want him like playing a few games and then playing on your fourth line, or do you want him playing every night in Iowa? Like being goal scorer, being what he's going to be in the NHL when he does get there. I don't think it's actually a real question for me, but like now that we know that like Yurov's going to be here day one, regardless of what he looks like in camp, he's going to be on this fucking roster. Doesn't it's very funny. It does not matter what this fucking kid looks like in camp. He is going to be on the team day one. So it's like, can he be a wild card to potentially slot in your top 6? Other than that, it's just like, what does the center depth look like? Like what order are they in? But like that feels pretty much like a guarantee as far as the line combos go. And I'm very annoyed that they're probably going to go Ek with Zuccarello and Kaprizov. Because I mean, like we've said before, we've seen this for 3 years. They've tried it. And it at no point has really popped for more than like 5 consecutive shifts. So I don't know.
And you see a lot of fans, especially on Twitter, that are like, we don't want Zuccarello with Kaprizov. His production should be tight. Why do you care? It's his last year. Like, if that's going to get more out of Zuccarello and it's what Kaprizov wants, do it. I don't care. Do you not want a better version of Zuccarello if that means that you get more spread throughout the middle six? I'm very okay with that scenario. I just don't like Ack being between them.
It's also funny. I mean, like Zuccarello, the past 4 years, 79 points, 67 points, 63 points, 54 points. Like, what are we talking about? Who cares? Like, he's just been producing when healthy. Like, he's just been really good. So who cares if he's playing with fucking Kaprizov? It's working. Like, Kaprizov's going off, and Zuccarello has been producing since fucking Kaprizov got here.
This comment just hurt my brain. Because it'll probably happen, but it still hurts. You didn't see it?
No.
Our boy Tegrity said, fuck it. Johansson, Ek, Boldy.
Hell yeah, I'm in. I don't care. I love JoJo. I'm gonna be that annoying. I will be to Marcus Johansson what Hynes was to Freddie Gaudreau in the playoffs. He will be, no matter what, he's my guy, go-to guy. Absolutely. He's the best player in the world. I love this man.
You know,
he's the GOAT.
Z, I think you got the resume. I think you could do play-by-play for the Wild. I really do.
You think so?
I think you got it in you.
Can you imagine me?
Wait, hang on. I take it back. When's the last time you had a nice steak or a red wine? Specifically from Italy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't think I could do it. I
take it back. You are not at all equipped for that. Apologies to everyone for wasting your time with that comment. Maybe we jump then to the meat of this episode. I think we can spend a lot of time here depending on what direction we want to go with all of this, but Corey Pronman got his prospect pool rankings out. Do we want to talk holistically just about the teams and where they fell, like teams that you thought were too high, too low? Do we want to really just focus on the Wild specifically? Where do you want to take this segment?
You can just do the Wild, honestly. I didn't even really. I kind of just went through a couple of teams I was interested in reading about. I didn't really have any crazy reactions to where teams were slotted in. Didn't surprise me the Wild.
Being thrilled that the Bruins weren't bottom 8.
I was like, yeah, is there oh my god, it doesn't start with the number. Their rank doesn't start with a 3. This is amazing. This is the best. This is the best day of my life, personally.
Do you agree with the top end of his rankings? 'Cause I know you at least saw where all the teams fell. Do you think the top 3 to 5 make sense, or do you have any gripes there before we get into the Wild?
Let me pull it up. What was it? So it was Sharks, Blackhawks, Mammoth, Ducks, Canadians. Who was it? Was it Kraken? Was that after that?
We have to. We'll actually save them for our Book of Mammoth segment, but we have to talk about the Mammoth being so high in this because that's so freaking cool. But
it's the best.
But I mean, anything that stands out there is weird, or you just disagree, even if it's in the top 5, where some of the teams are slotted.
No, not really. Honestly, when I list the number of players the Canadians drafted and some of the guys they've gotten just by way of other teams fucking up. They have some of my favorite goddamn prospects in the fucking world, specifically Demidov, literally. But I don't even know if we can even consider him a prospect anymore because he's clearly going to be a full-time NHL guy when the season starts. Wasn't the playoffs. They're
going by the same rules as us. Actually, I think Pronman goes by even more basic standards of 22 and under. But even guys like your boy Cam and Chris Peters, they just did their they talked about the EP's top whatever prospects, and prospect was just, are you called or eligible? And their number 1 is demigod. So,
right. Yeah, no. So, I mean, they've just drafted some absolutely, and guys that aren't far away from being in the NHL already. Some of the guys they just drafted the past 2-3 years, which is always a luxury, obviously. And they obviously make the playoffs this year. Lane Hudson just absolutely pops. Slavkovsky's now
he wasn't even good enough to make it to the U.S. camp, dude.
That's true. He stinks. Obviously, Demidov. Slavkovsky is now the player that who's at least tracking towards being the player that they thought they were drafting at first overall. It's just like they just have so many guys that are going to be slot all over their lineup in the next couple of years, and they're just going to be a fucking powerhouse. So that doesn't surprise me. The Ducks went from drafting just like the super high end like defenseman guys. Now the past few years they've just like kind of hit on every kind of like player type, like every mold of player that you can ask for. They've went out and got. Like when we first started this, we would talk about like the Minnesota Wild's prospect pool just being super diverse in terms of like. Since Judd Brad came in, you've like drafted super high end guys. You've got like guys that are, I don't know, like shooters, two-way forwards, like offensive defensemen, defensive. Like they just went and drafted pretty much every kind of prospect you can. And that's like the Ducks have started doing that over the last few years. So it doesn't surprise that they were as high as they were. And I mean, the Mammoth have just been hitting home runs for the past 2-3 years. The organization, I guess. I can't say the Mammoth specifically.
Yeah, it is interesting though for the Ducks. Because you're right, like they have a diverse pool as far as like skill sets are concerned. They've kind of started to go the Coyotes, Hockey Club, Mammoth path of I want a big boy.
I think like pretty much the whole league has started to do that now too, with the exception of a handful of teams. And I mean, I'm more so just like still. They're like when I went back the other day and just like looked through this past draft again. It is stunning. It is legitimately unbelievable how like I know they're not actually lazy or whatever, but the fucking main takeaway is like these motherfuckers watch the playoffs. Are they mad because like all these good teams are like trading away all their prospects? Like, you know what? Fuck it. Just go out and find the biggest guy. I don't care. Like, just go draft big boys. Like, it's insane. Some of the kids that didn't get drafted versus some of the kids that went like in the fucking 4th round. Obviously, because they're 6'6". It's like this is insane. So like I think it's just gonna keep happening too. Like I don't see a world where this like doesn't like this isn't the trend. This might be a hard year for them to do that. But we'll see.
It is interesting too. I wonder just because like our running bit, of course, is that Vegas will never keep a prospect, right?
Yeah.
How often do you think they're looking at a player and instead of saying like, how good do we think this player will be? Are they saying, how good do we think everyone else thinks they are? Like, it's a weird thing to say, but like, is it really like, yeah, we don't care what their trajectory is. What does everyone else think? Let's get that guy because they're going to be tradable. Like,
yeah, I mean, at this point, it was a real bold move to go out and sign Trevor Connolly. It's like you better hope he's ready to fucking keep impressing guys. Because obviously, you're gonna trade him. So,
and he sure isn't.
I didn't look. I mean, the kid's fucking as far as talent goes, it's just
insanely talented. But he had a tough year.
Yeah, he didn't have he didn't pop this past year at Providence. So, I mean, we'll see. I honestly hope he could fucking just not get traded. That'd be great. I want to see one of these fucking prospects get drafted by them and actually just keep playing there. It's just that, or actually, you know what? It's a good bit. Yeah, no, it's a good bit.
It's way funnier if no one does, because once one does, the bit's kind of killed.
Like, I just want the fucking, like, them to take the kid, they draft whoever, 20-something, and then the fucking camera goes to their draft table, and they're like, nah, who cares? They have no head scout. They're like they're just using elite prospects. Like, I don't know, fucking next best available from their list. Don't care. Like, we're gonna trade this kid.
What is the Judd'z Budz ranking? Let's see.
They would never. This is the worst podcast in the world. So they would never even consider. Everything I say is wrong, anyways. You never hit on anything.
I was with you until that last part. You've been pretty correct on a lot of things, but. Have you seen some of the stuff for the UNC game?
No.
Did you see the Air Jordan logo?
Oh God, no, that's pretty good though. I like that. That's good stuff.
So I'll just describe it. It's a guy with a cut-off sleeve hoodie that is holding a girl up in the air with his feet, and she's like doing like a spread pose kind of thing. Like it's like yoga.
That's bananas, dude. It is. I mean, the whole thing is crazy. Like, you know what?
Good. I'll be way more excited about that engagement than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Oh God, I can't even talk about that just because the reactions have been not from like the people that love. Well, those have been annoying, but like how it's turned, as everything turns into the most annoying conversation on the internet. Like this one is particularly annoying, more annoying than most of the things that somehow get turned into like a. Like I don't know how some of this stuff just turns into politics. Like, it's crazy. Like how the fuck did we? How did you do that? Like how did you make this a thing? That's the most annoying shit in the world. Although I did like the person that was just like, it's gonna be weird to see Swift on the back of that guy's jersey next year. That's weird. I was like, that's good. I like that.
I'm definitely in the same space as him.
I'm like, that's a funny, harmless, not annoying tweet. That's good. That's good stuff. That's fine.
Also, like could you like?
Could I see it? Yeah.
No. I'm saying it is like it is very much a beta move. But if he was like, "Fuck it, I genuinely don't care. This would be funny," and leans into it and does take her name, I think that's incredible.
I might
think
like
so
him.
Funny.
I might start liking Travis Kelce if he were to do that. I'd be like, that's a fucking good bit. We like that. That's funny. Anyways, back to the prospect stuff.
That's right. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, just because it also relates, just again, like what we saw this year as far as drafting for size. But like we're going to talk about the Mammoth later. But like they're drafting, they've went out and they've drafted some big boys, and like you had mentioned, Anaheim's gone down that route too. I think the big difference with like Anaheim specifically and the Mammoth is like, yeah, they went out and they got guys with size. But I mean, you look at like Leo Carlson's legit fucking 6'3" potential future superstar. Like Mason McTavish is big. He's like 6'1". So, I mean, I think over 6 foot, does that count, I guess? But again, when he got drafted, it was like, this kid is going to be a future star. Beckett Sedecki is the one that's like, he was a rapid riser. I think pretty much there are a lot of teams that probably would have taken him inside the top 5, 6, 7 if they could have.
Maybe
but
not
like
3.
Roger McQueen, we've talked about him. If not for his health, like he would have gone earlier than he went. And would he go 10? That's another fucking. It's like the big players that they've got and went out and drafted. I think usually the guys that are big and they get drafted super high in the draft. That's a different. That's like it's just so different than the guys that are going like in the 3rd round. That you're like you should be able to get that guy in round 7, but you saw 6'5" and we're like, select, click, shit, whoops, they did it for real.
They actually have the draft list and you can sort, and they just sort by height.
Yeah, actually, Adam Banach was about to go to someone in the 2nd round, and they just like accidentally said that they just saw 6'5" on a sheet. They're like I don't know, pick a team. Anaheim Ducks, sure. We were just talking about them. Select.
I want
whoever.
6'5" or 5'6".
And they're like, fuck. I meant to say Banach, but it just the words that came out of my mouth. I just saw a 6'6" kid. I was like, that him.
What if someone went up and they were like, "We'll take the 6'6" guy."
Yeah, well, that's also true too, Cole, because McQueen, all the Disneyland content that they had, they actually drafted him 8 months ago, and they were like, "We know this is going to work out, so we're going to film this content this whole year." He was never actually hurt.
Injuring him.
He missed. No, he wasn't hurt. He actually just missed all those games because he was out. He was busy filming content with the Anaheim Ducks at Disneyland for fucking 6 months straight. That's why he missed all those games.
We're going to take you regardless. Would you rather play games? Or do you just want to go hang out at Disneyland for about a month?
Yeah, he played 8 games at the beginning of the year. And the Ducks were like, "We've seen all we needed to see.
This is fair.
We're gonna kidnap this kid now and take him to Disney." They go to jail.
Aren't you supposed to go to Disney after you win a championship?
Well, and
again, hang on though. If there's a team that can swing that, it's the Ducks, because Getzlaf famously is the guy that everyone parades around as the guy that touched the cup before winning it and then still won it. So
fair. Every time
can pull it off.
Like maybe I don't actually do this, but lately, every time I think about or hear the name Ryan Getzlaf, the first thing I think about is his homemade chicken coop that he made during COVID. I just don't know why. Just like the first video that I saw of him and his boy. Yeah, dude, it was the funniest.
Wasn't that the Sergachev bit?
What?
Wasn't that Sergachev?
No, Getzlaf literally built a fucking chicken coop like during COVID. And like the first 3 fucking radio hits they did with like back when they still had was it Sportsnet 590, the fan was like the daily show they used to do. Merrick used to host it all the time. But it was like the first 3 radio hits. Like they didn't even talk about hockey at all, obviously, because it was COVID. But it was like 15 minutes of them talking about chicken coops. It was just like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I just pretty much woke up one day. I was like, that's why I can just go build a chicken coop. There's a video of him with his sons, like with eggs, walking around. It was gold. So that's what I think about every time I hear his name now. And that's all I have to say about Ryan Getzlaf and the chicken coops until I think about it again.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Well, let's talk Minnesota Wild then. Lowest, highest. I don't know what to do with lists. Is 14 lower or higher than they've been before? How do you say that?
This is the lowest he's ranked them. The lowest ranking of we've seen. No, it's high rank is like 1.
That's
it's
what
like
I
golf.
would say too,
it's like a golf thing, you know. It's
it
similar
is
to the golf
confusing.
score.
Okay, all right. So this is the lowest that the Wild have been ranked in quite some time, and that's a good thing. It means that guys are graduating from this list and whatever. I still maybe thought they'd be a little higher than this. Like, how did you feel about them coming in at 14 among their peers?
Yeah, I thought maybe they would be closer to the 10, but I mean, even last year, I
10
think
is kind of the range I thought they'd be.
I mean, like last year, though, what were they, like 8? I think Pronman had them. I think he had them 7, 8, 9, maybe.
Do him and Wheeler do separate lists?
Yeah, I think they did. I can't remember though.
Oh, because they were definitely like a top 5 pool, I thought, but maybe that was Wheeler.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember, but I mean, I wasn't surprised because like obviously a lot of the kids that were considered prospects like over the last few years have graduated into full-time NHL guys, which again positive. I do think also like there have been some that have just soured. Like, I mean, we'll talk about Wallstedt a little bit. But I mean, when you think about like when we first started this show, the big thing was like how many young promising defensemen they had. I mean, they've traded Damon Hunt. They've like they didn't even sign Ryan O'Rourke. They didn't even give him his QO this year. Like there have been guys that have just like, and part of it was just how many there were and just never had the runway. Part of it was just like the Wild refusing to like have any of these young guys really get a solid look long term. And I mean, this is where I think the failure to bolster that Iowa lineup, I think really did some like damage to some of these guys, like just stock as prospects. So I do think like it has weakened for both reasons. Again, the high end guys are here playing.
Yeah.
But also there have been guys that have just like not panned out and have literally already moved on, or the Wild have moved them on themselves.
And this is tough because we're not going to go player by player and assess this right now, but do you see that as just being a speed bump and like hurts their stock today? Or do you think that the bad Iowa teams that they've fielded the last couple of years have done long-term damage to the prospect pool?
Not though as a whole, but I mean, there are definitely guys who I think like outside of Iowa probably would have like I still believe even this year, like I am still a fan of Ryan O'Rourke. I don't know if anyone actually signed him, but it doesn't sound like last time I checked, I don't think he was signed by anyone when they didn't give him that QO. I would be at this point, I would be surprised if he did become a full-time NHL player. I still like Ryan O'Rourke. Like I think he was a good defenseman. I think just the whole system in Iowa fucked a player like him up. Like as far as any other team, like looking at that and like having any still like positive thoughts about the player or whatever. But I do think that there have been a few guys that it's just damaged long term. Like it just has. Because I mean that team was such a fucking shit show the last couple. It's unbelievable how they ignored the Iowa problem the past few years. Because like, especially with the players that they drafted who looked really promising, like potential like impact NHL guys, and like it went from being you had 0 young guys to like a few, and then you add in like literal nut job, like 38-year-old ex-NHL enforcers. Like you had like 4 of them on the same team. Like, what are we doing? Look what this is. It's like Adam Beckman was playing with like Cody McLeod and I forget the guy's name. But it was just like, yeah, we want to give Becky some space out there. Like that's all. He's not going to get the fucking puck. He's just like every time he's out there, you guys are just punching people in the face. Like this is insane. And then they had like this past 2 years, they've had all youth, especially on the back end. So there at no point was like a positive environment. Like, and again, we'll talk about this at the same time when we talk about Wallstedt too. Same thing. Like, it was like just a shitty place for like defensemen and goaltenders to develop as a whole. But I don't know. Yeah, Brandon Baddock, that was the one I was thinking of. That guy is so. Remember he punched the ref? That was fun. His NHL preseason game. He had one look at a preseason game and just punched the ref in the face on accident and never sniffed the preseason. He's still playing though. He's still fighting people in the A.
Hey, good for him. So do we want to run down quick the full list, or do we want to go player by player, or are we going to use this time mostly to talk about the risers, fallers, surprises? Like,
well, yeah, let's just rattle off the list real quick, and then there's only like a couple that we'll probably spend any like meaningful time on, anyways.
This will shock most people that listen to this show, but number one on the list is Z Buyam. Again, super shocking, but not at all shocking. Number two, Danila Yurov, who is listed on here as a right wing. That's notable. Number three, left wing Liam Ogren. Number four, one that we're going to probably spend a decent amount of time talking about, Charlie Stramel. Number five, defenseman David Jiricek. It is so fun reading his name with all the proper accents on the letters. Number six, defenseman Carson Lambos. Number seven, right wing Ryder Ritchie, formerly of the CHL, now going to BU. Goddamn you, Z. Number eight, another guy that we'll probably spend a decent chunk of time talking about, Jesper Wallstedt. Number nine, another one that I feel like we probably need to spend some time on, because I feel like a lot of fans are probably lost on like what happened last year. Like, where does this prospect actually sit? Rasmus Kumpalainen. Number 10, defenseman Justin Kipke, just drafted this year. And we'll get into the has a chance to play guys later, but that's his rankings for his top 10 guys in the Minnesota Wild pool. So we'll get to omissions later. My question is, what stands out in this list as far as guys that you think should have been higher or lower among this top 10 list?
Well, I mean, like, again, we can just start with the elephant in the room. The Jesper Wallstedt one was the big one, obviously. I mean, again, still like ranked or whatever, and in his top 10. But it is interesting to see. It's less the rankings for me. It's just like when you read like his breakdown, that's where it gets interesting. Like, and if people want to go and listen to the podcast where they talked about it too.
Yeah.
And
it was interesting. Be recording with him tomorrow, or as people are listening to this today, episode will drop next week for Fellowship of the Rink. This week is Alec Lewis to preview Vikings because season opener. Let's fucking go. But yes, go back and listen to their show, because some of the context he provides on these players is actually very helpful. Whether you agree or disagree, it at least helps you understand like why he put a player in a certain spot. Do you agree with not necessarily the ranking, but the assessment of where Jesper Wallstedt's at?
I'd probably say, again, like, yes, with an asterisk. Like, this was the first year that was a legitimate disaster for Jesper Wallstedt. A lot of it, yeah, sure, it had to do with the fact that, I mean, he had 3 different fucking injuries this year. The way the year started with him potentially, like, actually, well, just being specifically told, yeah, we're going to have a 3 goalie rotation in the NHL. We'll send you back down to Iowa every once in a while, which is, again, the fact that was the plan is legitimately fucking insane. And on Iowa, it was, again, it's just such a shit show. So it was just a recipe for disaster. But at the same time, too, like, even when he was healthy, when he was down there, like, he just had a really fucking bad year and did not look the same whatsoever. And when and like the big thing when you listen to the podcast I understand, or I agree with the assessment as far as like how you, as a third party without a ton of context, I guess, would evaluate it. It's like,
yeah,
this is a kid. He's not like the biggest goalie in the world. He's never been looked at as the most like athletic, quick, whatever. He's a super smart goaltender that's like his value just comes from hockey IQ and positioning and everything. And when you have such a bad year like this year that he had, like the year that he had this year in Iowa, like usually you can look at even like outside of goaltenders too, but it's like, all right, well, we have the foundation that he's like a super athlete, or he's got the size, he's got whatever. If it's like you can't really use that, then it's tough to just like put a ton of confidence in a player. It's like, well, we hope, like literally it's like, well, we hope he's closer to what he was when we drafted him 4 or 5 years ago than this past year. Again, I am a Jesper Wallstedt believer. It is tough that he had the single worst possible season he could have, and now he's going to be in the NHL on a one-way contract immediately.
I actually think it's weird.
It might work out. Yeah, I was going to say it might work out for him. He's just going to be obviously around better players in a better environment than he was in Iowa. Again, it was like this was the first year where it was just like, what the fuck was that? And again, some of it was out of his control, but even when he was healthy, like he just was bad.
Yeah, and it is important to point out, like everything that could have gone wrong did. And this is still a very young goaltender, but it was interesting to me because I can watch forwards and defensemen and I can give an honest assessment. Goalies are a lot harder for me, right? Mm-hmm. But what I always understood is what you said. Like, it wasn't the athleticism, it was the IQ. And when Pronman comes out and says, like, even when he was in and healthy, like, he was not tracking pucks, he was not reading plays, that is concerning because that's his calling card. And we always say, right, like, you look at these prospects and it's like, hey, they're super skilled. They've got to learn the speed of the game and they've got to have that knowledge. And I've always ragged on a guy like Mikael Granlund. He came in and was good right away because he came in and he thought the game correctly. Like, he was up to speed. The game was not too fast for him. He processed everything, but there was no room for him to get smarter. Like, he already kind of had that. And the skill wasn't going to grow exponentially. You got a similar thing here with Wallstedt where he's going to get better. He's going to work on his mechanics, but like largely the big delta for a lot of these goalies is the learning curve and being able to ramp up on the IQ side. He's already got that, and we're seeing that falter. Like, I understand the context of where Pronman's coming and why he drops him so far down the list. I'm with you where, like, there's so many things that played against him this year that I'm not willing to just take this and, like, view it as gospel. But it warrants watching this season that if we continue to see a similar trend, okay, maybe we got to reevaluate, you know? Like, I get where he's coming from, and I think it's helpful context instead of just saying he had a bad year, now he's down at 8. You know, it is good to understand he's actually got, like, valid reasons for the fall, even if he's missing a little bit of context on his end.
Well, yeah, I mean, realistically, too, if you read, if people go read the article that he did and, like, read the little blurb on the specific ball, so that's where he lands too. Like, I mean, he finishes it off the last few sentences. Like, he literally says Wallstedt's never been known as the quickest player. So even if his reads are slightly off as they were this year, he could look like an ordinary goaltender prospect. I've seen him so good for so long that I still think he gets to the NHL, but he's going to have to rebound significantly, which is just true. Like, the one thing, again, like you said too, the goaltenders, they're just going to always be difficult for people like you and me who literally weren't goalies. Who don't specifically.
I played goalie for 2 years. Important there. Context.
But like, you can pick up on like styles basically and like what works. Like this year again, like even when he was healthy, you saw him like swimming in the crease, like on his back more than he ever has, getting beat from it. Like, he was just the things that you looked at, like, that's his calling card. That's why he is so good. Like, he just didn't have that this year. So when that goes, he's just going to look like a very average to below average goaltender. Again, that's when I also still think how much of that was just between the years. Like, you know what I mean? So I still believe in like him bouncing back. And again, like, they're kind of just going to, they literally have to this year, just given the fact that he signed the one-way contract. So this will be like, this is going to be a big year as far, like, it just in terms of like the trajectory of his career, not necessarily like, is he ever going to be a full-time NHL guy? To me, it's more so like, is it going to be in Minnesota? Like that could be a real question. It's like, is he going to end up going out and like potentially just end up like, I don't know, being like a journeyman 1B, I don't know. But this is going to be obviously a huge year for him. So we'll see what happens. But I still believe in the kid.
For sure.
And it's also reasonable to have him lower than we've ever had him before as far as our rankings go.
Yeah, 8 was a little jarring to me, but like having him drop, very understandable, especially with the guys that have popped. But anyone else you want to point out in the top 10 specifically that dropped further than you maybe expected, or guys we want to talk about more from the negative lens before we talk about some of the guys that have surprised us positively?
No, I mean, not really, honestly. Like, no one really, again, the one guy that dropped a lot that I was noticeable, but again, like I think we both agreed with was Wallstedt. So, but yeah.
Okay, well, I gotta imagine I know the answer here, but who is the most positive surprise, or at least most positive riser, whether it's a surprise or not?
I mean, I didn't expect Justin Kipke to be in the top 10. He's a
that
fucking.
Was not. I didn't expect you to have that be your answer. So there we are. We're both surprised.
I just didn't expect to see him in the top 10 again. Like he's a what?
I was a little surprised by that too.
Double overager, taken 141st overall this past year. You know, having him in your top 10 over guys like Bankier, Height, Kiviharju, Lorenz, like all those guys.
Very funny side note. Under his has a chance to play, he lists individual players without really having much context, but it's the player and their position. But the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys were all centers and defensemen. And my brain immediately read it as that's the grade he's giving.
Oh, yeah.
C, D, C, D, C. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is bullshit. And then I got to the next one, Rieger Lorenz, LW. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm an idiot.
Okay, right, yeah, okay. Whoops.
I'm ready to get all upset. And
I did the same thing.
God, I'm dumb.
I did the same thing. Like, it's like Hunter Hayne has one of the very few really good seasons in Iowa. It's like, yeah, that guy sucks. C for him, C prospect probably. No, but Justin Kipke again. Like, I was just surprised to see him in that top 10. Just given the fact that they just drafted him again, double overager, but since his like actual draft year, he's just been incredible at the WHL. So he's just on a crazy trajectory. And just given the fact that he's as old as he is, like naturally he's going to be closer than a lot of other players. Like it's funny just to think that like he's actually older than someone like
dude, he's a week older than Kumpalainen.
Yeah, Kumpalainen, like who got drafted 2 years ago. So it's just like it's a crazy thing or whatever. But as far as just like the compete goes, his ability and just like the way that he plays, it's a pretty like translatable approach, and just like given the trajectory he's on, it's not surprising to see. Like I know when he got drafted, it was like that's a good pick, even if like it's a double overager. Like plenty of guys have been watching him for 4 or 5 years. It's like he's on the right path. The trajectory is good, and like what he's doing in the WHL right now, like he looks outstanding and like a potential future like 5-6 in the NHL. So he's got the size. He can move okay. But he competes super hard and he's a smart player. So, I just wasn't expecting to see him in that top 10 over again, guys that we've talked about for the past 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah. Now, safe to assume that his top 3 is on par with what you would have said. Buyam, Yurov, Ogren, right?
Yep. I did before we even do the Stramel thing. This is going to be a weird positive. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Lambo slot in at 6 because again, we talked about how fucking brutal it was to be a young defenseman in Iowa this past year. Carson Lambo's like, again, the point totals aren't jumping off the page, obviously, as far as just like when he got drafted, like the highlight tape was him just like the offensive upside and everything. But he played a ton of minutes. He played hard fucking minutes and he looked really good. And like, there was a reason that he was one of the few defensemen that actually got called up. He didn't play, obviously, when he got called up this past year, but it was a reflection on like how good he was
considering the situation that he was in. I mean, fuck, I think he finished with a positive plus minus, which on that team is legitimately impressive. If you're playing
Heroic.
like 25 minutes, it's like, yeah, give him the Norris actually this year. 0 games played, Norris Trophy. But he played a ton of minutes in his second full year. He's such a fucking good skater. He defends really well. He's got the size. He plays hard. So I love Carson Lambeau, still do. Different type of player than the player that like the Wild drafted. He's a lot different than he was then. But like it was notable the year after. Though. Yeah, the fact that he's now looked at as like a defenseman, despite the fact that like. Again, when they drafted him out of Winnipeg, like the highlight tape was him just going nuts. And again, this was a kid that was a projected top 5, 6 before he had the whatever injury, the whatever health issue it was during COVID. Like he got fucked over with COVID and whatever the weird. I think it was like a heart problem that he has never actually come out and said what it was specifically. But he missed a ton of time and like only didn't really pop when he did go over to Finland. We could finally play again. And then obviously ends up getting 26 in 2021. I think he was 26 overall.
Yes,
but the fact that he's shown the fact that he's doing it in Iowa just looks like a completely different player than when they drafted it, and looks good. Like it's such a positive. So I was actually surprised and happy to see that he maintained his spot in that top 10 because just given how many guys they've drafted over the past 4 years. And just the fact that he's playing in Iowa, not putting up like crazy points, like it would have been understandable if a lot of people were like, I'm kind of sour on Lambos. But again, just a really impressive year given the situation. I was happy to see him maintain his spot like in that top 10, and even just like at 6, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I just dropped the link into the chat as well. But Lambos was an awesome interview. Like just a good kid, even when he was going through the shit for sure. We had him on, and he's still like just a very like goofy, laid back kind of kid. And curious because Mateo threw this up, and I know you were kind of in the middle of your whole spiel on him. Do you think there's a chance that he's in the opening night lineup?
It's possible, just given the situation with like Brody and everything. The fact that, I mean. I just have a nagging suspicion that they end up signing Jack Johnson out of that PTO because we know how comfortable they are not with like
5 years.
You know what?
The beginning of the first however many games of the season is obviously they're going to look at that differently than they would have in the playoffs with a kid like Buyam or whatever the past few years. Like they're just like unwillingness to play the real young guys or the rookies. I have I think it was Russo was doing I think he put up an article, maybe it was Joe, one of them, like either today or yesterday or something. They sound like they're not like, again, we'll see what they actually do, but even just it sounds different the way that they're talking about a potential lineup with a lot of young defensemen in it. They sound significantly more comfortable than they ever have before. So I wouldn't be shocked if Lambos was in the lineup opening night, just given the situation that they're in. Is it likely? Probably not.
Okay, so less likely.
I don't think it's unreasonable to think it could happen, though.
Yeah.
I would like to see it, by the way. I would love to see it.
Curious your thoughts then, because you and I have both been on the Charlie Stramel train. We also watched him live at Mariucci do his thing, and he looked great. Were you as surprised as me that he was slotted ahead of David Jiricek?
Yes and no, actually. Because if you just compare the last 12 months of hockey, it's like not even close. If you look at their overall pedigree long term, then yeah, it's like holy shit.
Well, that's more my point, because like we talk about all of these guys and sample sizes, right? Again, I am a Charlie Stramel believer. I'm not trying to argue against myself, but it's also one fucking year, right?
Yeah, so I think the long term. That's where actually, again, like I think the long term analysis comes in. It's like, when did everything go to shit for Stramel? Wisconsin. Like when he was in the worst possible environment, he looked like dog shit, and everything went horribly wrong. First time he goes back to a good situation, immediately pops, looks like the player in his draft minus 1 year. So it's like, again, like I think we just saw closer to the real Charlie Stramel this year because it's the first time he's ever been in the right kind of environment, leveraged in high situations, and actually like leaned on heavily for 3 years. So like, again, people need to remember, like before he went to Wisconsin, Stramel was a top 10, top 15 consensus looking prospect. And obviously, again, the thing with Jiricek though, top 5. Like, so that's where it comes. It's like, holy shit.
I do get it. It's more just, again, it's one good year being in a good situation.
Yeah.
I almost feel like this would have been far more warranted after his senior year with Michigan State. Again, I'm not knocking the pick. It's more like, are we overvaluing 1 year to say Stramel's better than Jiricek, right? Because Jiricek, we've got the track record, and like this year, again, injury. He had his whole bullshit with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He comes to Minnesota at like the worst possible time with the logjam on the blue line. It just feels like that was the one spot that, like, I'm being super nitpicky here for sure, because who cares 4 versus 5, but I still view Jiricek as a higher potential prospect than Stramel.
Yep, maybe. The thing, like, I think the positionally it's just so fucking hard too. That's the other thing. Like, it's so fucking hard to be a top 4 D in the NHL. Like, it's also like different. It's different too. Where like realistically, I mean, this is the first time I think we've had anyone come out and be like, "Hey, it looks like a potential like middle 6 guy." Which I don't know why we keep, like you and I.
You can't just like lightly glance past that. Pronman firmly stated in the podcast that Charlie Stramel is a guy he views as a middle 6 player in the NHL. Not bottom 6, not 4th line, not 3rd line, middle 6. And that was the record scratch moment for me where I was like, I listen to podcasts pretty nonstop because I like my ADD brain. Like I need to have something going on to like keep me like loosely within the rails. And I'm like 70% paying attention usually. And there's always like 1 or 2 moments in whatever I'm listening to that have me stop and be like, I need to rewind like a minute or 2 and make sure I've got all the context here. He sure as shit labeled Charlie Stramel with zero hesitation as a middle 6 NHL player. What say you to that?
I think when people say that though, it's a pretty clear. It's like he means 3rd line. And I just read the write-up in the article too. It's
but
like,
that's, that's still different than bottom 6. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
yeah.
It just tells you this isn't a guy that like, hey, maybe he becomes a 3rd line center. It's like he's sure as shit a 3rd line center in the NHL, which there's still way more to play out. Like, but that's a huge improvement on his trajectory. Whereas a year ago we were like, he'll be a sick 4th line center, maybe a 3rd line center. Now it's like, he's 3rd line center.
Yeah. I mean, like just like the way that he plays, the fact that he's the size that he's at, that he skates as well as he skates, he gives you 2A value, he can give you secondary offense. And he just plays such an NHL style. And like, again, the thing with him too, like this year we saw him rein in big time, like the stupid shit that he was doing. Like when he was just like, you know what? I'm playing 4 minutes a night, 3.5 minutes in, I'm decapitating everyone in my sight. And I will get thrown out and suspended every fucking game. Fuck you, Mike Hastings. Like it's we saw him rein in like the dumb shit he was doing. But yeah, like when he was at his best, I mean, again, this is like at this point we said like take Wisconsin off his resume. Like it is funny. I was like, it not for 5 minutes did that go well. Like it was unbelievably bad from day one until he left. But again, this is always a guy that's like, is he a top 6 guy? No. But does he have like decent enough offense? He's got really good hands. Like he skates really well. He's big and he's super fucking physical and mean. And he's a big guy that knows how to use that size too. He's not just big and using it to like dominate offensively. It's like, no, he's like, he loves to play through contact and he showed that he does have the good hands and he's really smart. as far as just like the game goes. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that like he finally is in the right place. He pops on one of the best teams in college hockey, playing against guys that are 23, 24, 25 years old. And he looked like he stood out pretty much every game. And he was also, I mean, he was their go-to number one center. So it doesn't surprise me.
That is partially, though, where I'll caveat, like, I do want to see this season now.
Yeah.
Do it again, but not only that, do it again without Ike Howard. And yeah, there's plenty of talented kids at Michigan State. He's going to have no shortage of skilled guys to play with, but he's got to drive a little bit more. Whereas Ike Howard was doing the heavy lifting, and Charlie's like, yeah, I'm just going to run around and kill people, and I'm here to bury whatever you need me to. But like, he didn't need to carry the load. There was a lot less pressure there. Now he's got to lead, and he's got to kind of drive a line a little bit more. Not necessarily driving it like he's got to put up all the points, but like there's going to be a little bit more heavy lifting there.
Yeah, I mean, I probably like, and I know what you're saying. I'd probably add in though, like he did do a lot of little things too, like just like play in the neutral zone, even just like defensively, like stick positioning, like knocking pucks loose, and like there was a lot that he did that doesn't end up with a score sheet that puts guys like Howard in a really good position to like put up points or whatever. Like really fucking good at the face-off dot too this year. Like I think he ended up like 58, 59, 60%. So like he just did a lot of things. Like we talked about like him being like a smart hockey player too. And like that is another thing that he's always just had going for him. Like just the understanding of the game and everything that makes him valuable as well. So like, there was a lot of like, again, he still put up really good points, almost a point per game this year. But he also did a lot of little things that were super beneficial, obviously, for guys like Howard.
And I guess for me, it's partially to say, not that he didn't do those things. To your point, it gets ignored and brushed under the rug when it's Howard. If we see him doing those same things and it's setting those other guys up for success, now you got a little bit more of a proof of concept. And it's like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to stand out more, not only to prove to people that's what he is, but it's also like, again, everything went right for him. He's basically the opposite of Jesper Wallstedt, right? Things couldn't have worked out better for him. He was a big part of that, but let's see him take another step or at least maintain what he did last year while losing the best player in college hockey.
Right. Yeah, I think too, even just like adding on to that too, like he's never going to be someone that drives a line, but he is a key fucking component to that line. Again, just like the little things that he does. So I think that's more so because again, like if he puts up, even if he drops off a little bit points wise or whatever, wouldn't shock me. But like if he's doing the same thing and he is playing those minutes, he's being utilized PK, power play, like pretty much a go-to guy in any situation. Like it's the same. And Michigan State is as good as they were last year, which I am very confident that they might even be. If you just look at the guys they have coming in, they might be fucking better than they were last year.
It's insane, man.
It's unbelievable. They're so fucking. They're the best team in college hockey on paper for me. Like
that's it for me too, man.
Fucking unbelievable. That team's gonna be so nasty. But again, like I just don't like he's never gonna be someone who's gonna be driving a line offensively anyways, but like I just need to see him pretty much like do what he did as far as like the little things. And again, if you play in 20, 23 minutes a night, like it's all you can really ask for. But it's just again, there were very few prospects that needed a year like that. Very few more so than Stramel needed it. Like it was imagine how happy that kid was every fucking day this season. Just like, thank fucking God. The shit he was dealing with in Wisconsin since like his draft season. Because it's crazy that it was like in his draft year that it started going to shit. Like that sucks.
For sure.
That's the worst fucking feeling in the world.
Yeah. And I do have to, it's rare that I call out our boy Cole, but Mateo, throw that one back up. He says Stramel did fail at his recruitment role. Couldn't drive Howard here. I'm going to argue wholeheartedly with this because does anyone know off the top of their head the height measurement for Isaac Howard?
Yeah, it's good.
He's 5'10".
It's a great point.
There's nothing in the world that Charlie Stramel could do to get Bill Guerin to bring that kid here for any reasonable asset. So I'm giving Charlie the pass on that one.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. But shout out Charlie Stramel. Love the player. Good to see him, obviously, in a good situation. And again, the right decision to go back and ride the positive vibes again this year instead of like making a jump to the AHL.
Schmitty to go. Who does Guerin like more, Rossi or Stramel? He wishes that they were just merged into one human.
Maybe that's the plan.
That's his wet dream.
Surgically combine.
Is that the mega person?
They, like in Kicking and Scream. They're gonna form a mega man.
I think it could happen. The other guy that I have to ask about on here, because every time I see a list, whether it's like internally for our group, whether it's people like Pronman and Wheeler, whether it's just random people throwing out their thoughts online, the one that I feel has like the biggest variation across all of them is Ryder Ritchie. He always exists, but how high, how low? 7 just feels like the perfect like middle gap. Like, yep, we're just gonna throw him there. What do you feel about Ryder Ritchie within this prospect pool? Like, is that the correct slotting for him, or like where do you place him in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, that again, like you said, 7 is just like that's probably just feels about right. Is he a top 5 guy? No. Is he like ridiculously talented and a really exciting prospect that belongs in your top 10? Yep. It's like it is weird. It's like, no, I don't think I'll ever be like, yeah, easily a top 5 prospect of this pool. But then also like maybe like just outside it though, but definitively not at the top 5. But I mean, again, I think people were probably hoping that the point total would like jump off the page. There were a lot of factors that went into it. Not, but he still looked really good. Again, he also ended up like once he got healthy from literally like cutting his face open, and started playing with guys like McKenna, and the rest of just a ridiculous Medicine Hat team. I mean, he was right at a point or over a point per game. Like, I think he went maybe once he came back from taking the skate to the face. I think he probably had 6-7 games where he didn't at least register 1 point. So he's like got insane puck skills. He's got a good shot. Again, that's just like that dual threat offensively. He can make plays and he can score himself. The caveat's always going to be like he's a 5'10", 5'11", like light winger. But I mean, he plays with that nastiness. He plays with an edge that like the size isn't going to be a big problem for him. It's just, again, it's like it's a super skilled scoring winger. Like it's always tough to figure out exactly where they're going to slot as far as like their future goes in the NHL. Like the guys in the wing, it's the one position where it's like, yeah, there's a million. It's never like that premium draft, like the prospect, like it's never like that premium position, whatever. Like if you can strike gold with goaltenders, defensemen, and centers, you're like very happy. Like it's like wing will figure it out later. Like whatever. Like it's just like how wings have always been looked at. Ryder Ritchie's just like a special case where it's like he's just got the insane talent, and he's just a really fucking good hockey player. But it's a winger, so there's always gonna be questions. When you look at like the prospect pool in the future of Minnesota next 5, 6, 7 years, it's always going to be tough to figure out, all right, which wingers are actually being your top 6. He's a guy that I don't see, like, you're not going to ever see him on like a 4th line. That's the thing with him too. That's what actually makes it really fucking hard to evaluate.
We thought that about Liam Ogren too, and then here we are.
They were like immediately 4th line, actually, only 4th line
exclusively.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but that feels right though.
Yeah. Other guy that we got to touch on quick before the more or less honorable mention group. We don't have to go into too much depth, but I want to know Rasmus Kumpalainen basically being pegged by Pronman here as being a 4th liner.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like purely just like this is a bad year, he made a bad choice to go back and play overseas, or has something of substance changed here with him as a prospect? Like, do you believe he's not what you thought he was when they drafted him?
No, he's pretty much the same guy I thought he was. Like, he projects as like a 3rd, 4th line center. Like, the thing with him is the skating is just complete dog shit, and it's not going to get better. Like, it's just he's never going to be fast.
Who's a worse skater, him or Juracek?
Oh my God, Kupalainen. It's not even close. Like, it's crazy. Like, he moves 8 miles an hour. But again, the transition data is legitimately comical. Like, it's like 98 percentile as far as like his ability to get the puck and not lose it and like drop transition. But he's got size, obviously, and he is like just slow, but like the skill as far as his hands and like how good he is in and around the net is legitimately absurd. The jump from the OHL to Finnish Liga, it's like two different sports. Like, Finnish Liga is a unique league where it is like a lot of players like Rasmus Kupalainen, where it's like it's not going to be the fastest league in the world. It's a bunch of big boys. It's pretty physical. That's the thing with him too. He can play physical. He uses his size well too. It's a fucking hard league to play in. It feels like the rink's tiny. And it's just like not the flashiest, most skilled or exciting hockey in the world. It's very like mechanics based almost.
Remind me, because again, he went back to Finland and I basically tuned out on him. Is he the one that you compared to Jágr? Just like straight up like hip out, puck protect, like just cruise around and like wait?
Oh, I don't know if I did, maybe, but it's kind of
basically like he's physical. Like, it's not like anywhere near the same skill, but it's more just like, yeah, like I'm bigger than you. Maybe I can't move very fast, but good luck taking the puck away.
You're not going to get the puck from it. Yeah, pretty much. It's like him like going up and down the ice. Yeah, but like he does have like an insane hand. Like the hands are like it's like he is one of the more skilled players in this pool. Again, like with him, the skating is going to be a roadblock. Like it as far as him being an NHL guy that like
good luck, Andy.
Regular minutes or regular NHLer night in, night out, like third, fourth line, it's going to be tough. I think he does do it because he's super smart. Again, he's a really good two-way, like he kills penalties and he's a smart hockey player. And he does have like the skill, the hands, and he's a really good in and around the net. And he's strong and he uses his size well. Like he's just going to probably, you feel very comfortable projecting him as like a future NHL player. The skating is just going to be a big problem for him. So, and I mean, it didn't help that he went to Finland and played on one of the worst fucking teams in Finland. Like they barely escaped relegation. And actually in the series that they were fighting relegation, like he popped, like he put up points. He hit points in his first 3 or 4 games. Like I think his first game he had 3 actually. And then that team was just brutal for the entire season. And then in big games where they were fighting relegation, he did score some goals, put up some assists. But he played regular minutes, looked pretty good, looked comfortable on a bad team given the situation. So it was always going to be tough going from OHL to Finnish Liga. So we'll see what this year brings. I don't really expect a whole lot more from Pelicans in general, but I mean, I still think he projects as like a bottom. He's like, we talked about Stramel, like middle 6. Like Kuban's like, bottom 6.
Yeah. All right. Very fair. So then we move on to the has a chance to play. And I'll read off all of the names here, but as I do so, I want you to come up with the guys that you feel most warranted consideration for the top 10 and just the guys that you feel we need to discuss because they've either risen or fallen notedly. So in order, and these are not grades. These are positions. I won't even say it because you guys, no, I got to say it in case people don't know or they're new. In order, we have Caden Bankier, C. Hunter Haight, C. Theodore Hallquist. Is it Quist? D. Riley Height, C. Aaron Kiviharju, D. Carter Klippenstein, C. And again, up until this point, I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm a little confused about some of these grades. Next up, Rieger Lorenz, LW. I'm like, I'm a moron. All right, move on. Yeah. And last guy on the list, David Spacek, D. Michael Russo actually slipped him a 20 and said, please make sure he's on your list.
Spacek had a good. He had a good. I've been shitting on this like forever, like on accident, to be honest with you. But like, it's just whatever comes up.
So how do we feel? Like, who for you? Because obviously, Pronman's putting them in his order. Who do you think are the top 1 or 2 guys from that list?
I mean, probably a guy that I was borderline shocked didn't end up in the top 10 was
Hunter Haight,
Hunter Haight and Riley Height, honestly.
Okay, Height's the one that I'm more upset about.
Height did at the same time. I was like, I guess I get it because if you just look at the production last year, I guess 2 years ago versus last year,
the rule change was a year late. Just say it.
Yeah. Also, like, it was always going to be borderline impossible for him to like replicate exactly what he did in his draft year on this Prince George team.
Right. He needed to be able to play in the NCAA. He should have been a gopher last year. It's
he should have been a gopher. But I mean, I was surprised not to see him, but I was actually more shocked that Haight didn't end up in that top 10 than Height. Because again, there are very few players on that Iowa Wild team that you come away with like pretty much exclusively positive things to say about their season. Hunter Haight was absolutely one of them. I was honestly shocked that he's stuck at center the whole year, because if you just look at the player profile, it's like, what are the things that are going to get him to the NHL? It's the skill, it's the offense, and like the scoring. And he's 5'10", like. So that's just like a lot of times.
Here's 5'11".
But how comfortable he was in the middle of the ice, making plays, driving his line, like playing a lot with guys like Mikey Millen and really popping. Like, he looked so good night in, night out, and on a fucking horrible Iowa Wild team. I think he finished with like just over half a point per game, which is like really fucking good. As far as just like making that jump from Saginaw to a really bad AHL team and how comfortable he looked and how he just like looked like a center. Again, in the NHL, he still might end up being a winger. Like, it might just be a numbers game as far as like who's already here.
Well, I'm curious though, was it also a reverse numbers game in Iowa? Like, yeah, you're the only guy that's going. We need to throw you at center. Like, center or a wing in your mind? Like, where should he be?
Yeah, I think NHL, I would be. I mean, he
like, forget the roster. Like, I don't care where he fits for the Wild. Like, just his skill set, the way he plays and fits. Does he make more sense as a center or wing?
I mean, just looking at him, the way that he played this year, he looks like a center. But
right.
it would just surprise. It still would surprise me because he's a 5'10", 160-pound kid. Like,
okay.
I think
he's got to hang on.
He bulked up last year. He's 180.
5'11", 181 is what I see here from Pronman. And Pronman is not going to give him extra inches. That's for sure.
It's not going to skimp on pickles. That's for sure.
All right, fair.
No, but again, like, I thought Hunter Haight was really fucking good this year. One of the few success stories out of Iowa. Was very surprised to see him outside of the top 10. And like category, again, like, especially when you factor in the like that this is like the has a chance to play games category. Like, he just looks like a guy that's going to play. So I was surprised. But yeah, the Haight and Height combo specifically stood out. And then, like, also just like a notable omission from this, like the honorable mention / has a chance to play list. Adam Banach, to me, was shocking. When you put like Kipke in your top 10, and then I was as happy as I was to see Klippenstein there. But like, Banach's track record as far as like where he's played, how good he's been in like internationally too.
But how tall is Klippenstein?
Yeah, he's 6'3", so there you go.
Okay, so that's the end of the conversation. It's Pronman.
It's actually less.
He knows it's less that.
It's less that, more the Banach 5 foot like 1.
Right.
Yeah, that's more so the big thing. Because as far as like skill,
the amount
ability,
of people
talent,
on draft night, Z, that were like actually concerned when I made the post, like, oh, yep, or not draft night, but like draft day on Saturday when he got picked, and I was like. And Bill Guerin was not aware that he was this tall. They're like, holy shit. Like, is that true?
Oh my God. What an idiot. Fire Guerin. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, guys. But no, Banach was definitely a huge notable omission, I thought, from the has a chance to play games category. When you factor in Kipke getting top 10, Klippenstein making this list. And then just because, who was it that mentioned? Was it Mateo?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Bueller.
Oh wait, never mind. There's someone else. But yeah. Anyways.
All right. Well, then a little bit of an extended Book of Mammoth now, Z, because we got to talk about them being ranked number 3 in Pronman's pipeline rankings. And we've got to talk about their schedule leading up to the ever important U.S. Thanksgiving. Thanks, Isha. Thanksgiving cutoff for teams. But let's start here. Number 3. Did this surprise you at all?
Not really, honestly, especially just looking at the last 3 years of their draft.
I guess for me, it makes sense because it's Pronman, but also like we've been a big fan of their pool for a while. I guess I was just like, it was jarring for me to be like, oh shit, like other people think this too. It like caught me for a second. I figured they'd be like in the 5 to 7 range, but
I didn't think there was a chance.
They don't deserve it.
I didn't think there'd be a chance that they're gonna be outside the top 5.
Okay.
You could have told me that they were in any order between like Mammoth, Ducks, Canadians. I would have been like, yeah, whatever order you end up with them.
And you know what? I take it back. I should caveat this with the fact that I keep on like going back and forth between whether it's guys in the NHL or not, and he's just got the age cut off. And their top 2 guys are
Genther and Cooley,
Dylan Genther and Logan Cooley,
2 of the best young players in the NHL.
Am I correct? Does he have that backwards?
Probably long term, yeah.
Don't hesitate. Just say it with confidence.
Yes. Yeah, what an idiot.
But yeah, because of that alone, I'm like, damn it, never mind. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's just talk. We already did your personal top 10 for guys that are remaining as Calder eligibles, right? Mm-hmm. Talk me through their pool though, and I am actually going to step away real quick to pee while you lead off with how much we love Caleb Desnoyers, but also I've got an interesting like switcheroo in a recent draft here that I think would actually benefit both teams involved.
Okay.
But start with Desnoyers, and actually I want Desnoyers and Simashev because you are.
I'm probably going to be going.
I think you're on the Mount Rushmore. You're probably like the second guy on the Mount Rushmore, if I had to guess, of guys that loved Simashev in his draft here. And the second they got him, you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I can think of a bunch. Whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. Move on.
Yeah. Well, I can start going here. Yeah, it is brutal. So Caleb Desnoyers slots in at 3rd on this list. Actually, I'll just rattle off the list. 1, Dylan Genther. 2, Logan Cooley. 3, Caleb Desnoyers. 4, Dmitry Simashev. 5, Maverick Lamoureux. 6, Tija Ginla. 7, Daniil Boot. 8, Michael Hrabal. 9, Cole Baudouin. And number 10, Votek Radek. Number 11, Jonathan Castagna. Number 12, Artyom Duda. 13, Yegor Borikov. 14, Gabe Smith. 15, Max Seneca. 16, Thomas Lavoie. 17, Stephen Hoch. 18, Vadim Moroz. And so that's Pronman's list of guys that are projected to be NHL players / impact NHL players. Obviously, Caleb Desnoyers, as far as the guys that haven't played NHL games yet, stands out. It sucks that he's getting that hand surgery or wrist surgery this year, which is going to put him out of contention most likely for like the World Juniors. He was one of the few guys that got drafted this past season that you would assume has a decent enough chance to make that starting lineup out of camp. Obviously, now that he's getting this wrist surgery, it takes him out pretty much like a couple of weeks before World Juniors. But I mean, you just look at the way that he plays. He's 6'2", 6'3", two-way centerman. He's got legit offense, but like the two-way ability stands out. He skates well. He does pretty much everything you could ask for in just a super projectable game. So obviously, Caleb Desnoyers is just going to be very high on top of your list as far as like guys that you project as NHL players. Like to me, he just screams 2C. Again, I don't really look at him as like the first line center. I don't think
doesn't need to be here.
Right, that's the thing. It doesn't matter in this list, but I don't look at him and think like 90, 100 points. I think he's right around a point per game. But again, the two-way value, like how smart he is, and the fact that he did what he did this year at one point with two bad wrists, like with two fucked up hands and wrists, he was out there putting up. I mean, it's the cube, but like he's just under like
1.8 points per game and then like over 2 points per game in the playoffs when he was really fucked up. Like, it's crazy what he did. Such a talented player. So it wasn't surprising to see where he went in the draft, obviously, whatsoever.
How impressive is it to you that he plays such a strong two-way game, given that he plays in the queue? Like, it's pretty hard to learn how to play defense in a league that doesn't play defense.
Yeah, dude. That fucking league. Oh my god. But I was saying too, when you were gone, it sucks that he's getting the surgery now.
I could hear the whole time.
Oh, you had the headphones in. Okay.
Oh yeah, I got the headphone in.
I just realized you weren't wearing the over the ear.
Yeah, because those ones, for whatever reason,
they stopped working.
It's just not working. So,
but yeah, I actually didn't even start talking about Simashev yet. I fucking love this player. God damn it! Like the size, how good of a fucking skater he was. Like usually you have to like.
I'm forgetting. Was he your number one defenseman in that draft? I thought so.
Was it 2023? Yeah. I gotta remember that draft class.
It was 23, and I thought you had him as your number one guy, and you also had him like fringe, like number 5. Like you had him 4 or 5 on your board, and they took him 6, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he would have been because I forgot. That's the Reinbacher. Reinbacher went 1 pick before him.
Right.
And then
but you had Simashev 1, right?
As far as defenseman goes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have you know what? I would have probably had him second behind Sandin Pellikka.
Fuck you, Kyle Dubas.
Yeah, because I forgot how fucking how comical this first round of defenseman was. Reinbacher 5th, Simashev 6th, Vilander 11th. I love Tom Vilander, however. I'm gonna fucking say it.
He should pretend to as well.
Sandin Pellikka at 17, Oliver Bonk to Philly at 22, Tanner Melendijk to Nashville, Theo Lindstein to St. Louis, and Gulyayev. Oh, I forgot about that kid.
Now,
anyways, continue.
Can we agree though that 2024 is probably the best defenseman, like top of the board draft after 08? And if you don't remember 08, that's okay, because I just threw that at you, but that one always sticks in my mind.
So it was like Lev Shunov, Yakimchuk, Parekh, Salayev, Dickinson, Buyum. Yeah, probably as far as like the top end of that draft goes, like Yurashek I think that was the same draft. Stolberg, EJ Emery, Ben Danford, Badinka.
And for me, 08 stands out. Do you know that one off the top of your head or no?
That would have been fucking. Hold on, I'm trying to remember.
It's not intended as a quiz either.
Is that Drew? Was that Doughty's draft year?
That was Doughty's year. So Stamkos won, and then it was
insane.
4 defensemen in a row from 2 to 5.
I forgot. Bogosian went 3rd. Bogosian was 3. I forgot about that.
Yes. Too, so it was Doughty, Bogosian, Pietrangelo, Shen, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was just wild because like no one really knew. Like outside of Doughty probably being the top one, the other 3 you could have thrown in a blender and no one knew.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically too. I think 24 is just
that's a thick group.
Even with Doughty and Pietrangelo in the 08 group, like I think in totality, 2024 is gonna blow that shit out of the water.
And yes, Cole Doughty is that fucking old. Now I do have to say, let's go to that 2024 draft. Here is my reversal, and this is going to sound weird, and it is specific to our Utah Mammoth.
That's right.
Would it not do both teams a positive service to swap Tija Ginla for Zane Parekh?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. I remember we were all going nuts. We were like, come on, let it happen. Doesn't happen.
Right, but the Calgary side of this is obvious, but what is the one thing missing from this pool and current roster? They need that true PP1 quarterback, guy with all of the offensive skill in the world on the blue line. I think Zane Parekh fits that bill to a T. And granted, based on your board, and thank God for the Minnesota Wild, it wouldn't have been Bouillon in this scenario, but like Bouillon is the guy you would have picked. But Zane Parekh also very much fits that bill. Do you think that looking back, and it's tough because I know Tijagindla, like there was injury and there's caveats to it, but would you rather, as you look at the collective of this pool, get that guy on the blue line?
Maybe. As far as guys with that pedigree, obviously, like Parekh literally broke OHL records for defensemen. That being said, when you look at what they've got now, plus some of the guys that are coming in, yeah, they don't have necessarily someone that you look at outside of like Sergachev, who you can like tout as someone's like, yeah, that's going to be our port. Like even Sergachev himself,
and that's even a
exactly.
stretch.
Well, I mean, if you look at, he put up ridiculous numbers this year.
I'm saying
like 17 goals.
Do you think he is a true power play quarter? Like, he can put up offensive numbers, but I still question whether he's the guy that you want when you're truly contending to be the guy that runs your power play.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. Yeah, I don't know. But like the thing with Parekh is like he's got that pedigree. There are a lot of question marks about like, is he going to be able to hit the NHL? I think he will. I think he might. He's got a good chance to make this team this year. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, sure. On paper, sure.
And that's not to shit on Tijagindla. Like, again, it's more just like for both teams, it felt like maybe that swap makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too. It's like, well, after Zane Parekh, like, who do they have quarterbacking for them? That's another question too. So that you have to factor that in.
Yeah, but it's again, so they say yes. I mean,
like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll play him.
Do you know who their GM is?
Do you know?
Do you know who he does Sunday brunch with?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Tij is back to full health this year too.
That'd be nice.
So he barely played any hockey last year, and his numbers were really good when he was playing, but obviously he gets hurt.
Yeah. Anyone else in this pool that you feel warrants extended discussion beyond what we did in your top 10 list about a month ago?
Trying to think. I don't think I think we mentioned briefly a kid like Thomas Lavoie. I think I was actually only because someone asked, but I mean,
it is. Yeah, it was him and Gabe Smith that were asked about in the chat.
It is crazy looking at the future of this defense, and it's like, it is insane how big these motherfuckers are. Like, literally, you've got Dmitry Simashev, left shot D, 6'5". Maverick Lamoureux, right shot D, 6'7". Again, Tommy Lavoie's right shot, 6'4", and he's like the small guy. Max Seneca, right shot D, 6'5". Artyom Duda, I think he's actually the real short guy of the group. It's 6'1", left shot. He's looked really good since being allowed to fucking play hockey again. But it's just crazy how legitimately massive every D-man outside of Artyom Duda, who's 6'1", this group is gonna be long term. I mean, you've already got what Sergachev right now is 6'3". It's insane how fucking huge this defensive group is going to be. And I mean, realistically, already is. They lost. Kesselring was the big guy that they lost right this year. Like, don't worry, we have 97 more coming in that bowl. It's insane how big this hockey team's going to be. And that also extends to the goaltending position because Michael Rabel, who I think, what did I say? He was ranked 8th on this group. He's 6'7". Like, was he at UMass? Yeah. So it's just going to be the biggest fucking hockey team in the world. Oh, yes. I forgot.
Schmidt to go just mentioned too. They're the ones that ended up with Scott Brunovich, who's like also short. It's like good luck, sink or swim, bro, for you. But yeah, nice. It's gonna be comical seeing like this team walk off the bus in like 5 years. Like the guys are gonna be there. It's like, oh my god.
They're going to need a bigger bus.
We're fighting centaurs at this point. This is crazy.
We're going to need a bigger bus.
Literally, we actually have to get a bigger bus. The whole team is like leaning over when they're walking to their seat. Like,
I like that.
It'd be the biggest hockey team in the world.
Fast get alive.
Fast fucking alive.
All right. Let's then transition to what we already planned on talking about, and that is the ever important schedule leading up to Thanksgiving. And again, to be clear, that is American Thanksgiving for any weirdo Canadians that are listening.
You piece of shit. Just kidding. Actually, you're pretty cool right now.
Actually, Canadians are nice.
Actually, we really like you.
As Isha would say, anyone that's not in Toronto, maybe even Ontario, you're cool. Oh wait, that's 70% of Canadians. Shit. But schedule could be worse. Like, let's be real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went through and I just was like, who they play. This is before Thanksgiving, right? That's what we mentioned. Like I think it's like 13 away games, 11 home games. I think that's how this. I think I did that right.
And they've got pretty like set stretches too.
Yeah, the one tough thing is when you look at they've got 2 long road trips before Thanksgiving, and they're pretty fucking tough.
But define long, like 4 games, is that long?
I mean, when you
don't the Wild have some like 5 or 6 game stretches?
Sure, but like actually, and realistically, they start Colorado on the road, Nashville on the road, Chicago on the road. They come back for 3 games. Then you go St. Louis away, Minnesota away, Winnipeg away, Edmonton away. You come home for 1 game against fucking Tampa
Those
Bay.
4 are going to be a battle.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then you're back on the road again to Buffalo, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. So like, I think it's the combination of like what
basically doing back-to-back road trips. Yeah, that's fair.
And like you like stop home for 3 days, and then you just go on another like week plus long road trip again. That's like the fair. One tough part. But when you look at the teams that are going to play twice, it's going to be tough. Like with Colorado, Vegas. I think they play. I just wrote it down too. I should know this off the top of my head. I think Vegas, both of the Vegas games, I think, are at home, which is nice. Obviously, that's to be on the road to Vegas twice is so you can pretty much like pencil in 2 losses there.
You know, the fan base is not going on the road for that one,
right? But then you got like San Jose twice, Buffalo twice, and like Montreal to me is like going to be a huge wild card this year. I don't really know what to think of that team this season.
Yeah,
because there was a lot to be hopeful about as far as young players goes last year. There was a lot of things that went right for them, especially down the stretch, to help them ultimately make the playoffs. I mean, the Atlantic is a fucking who knows. There are a lot of teams that are like cup potential. And it's like they can either make the playoffs or finish 8th. I don't really know. It's one of those divisions. We're not talking about Montreal. But like you said, like I think this is a decent when you look at like Thanksgiving as like that benchmark. It's like what's the playoff picture look like? They could be firmly like fairly comfortable. It's like probably a middle of the pack as far as like strength of schedule goes. So I think there's reason to be hopeful that like they could be in a pretty good spot here. I went out of curiosity to because Jay Fresh always like plugs everything into his model to look at like what the 82 game or well is it this year? It's 84 games. It's stupid shit. Or is it 82 this year? Thank God. Okay. I wanted to go see what his looked like. It is crazy. Like his projected ranking, like his serious one. Obviously, he always posts like a joke thing about like the draft or like whatever.
I was gonna say
the Central. The Central. This is his projected
standings at the end of the year. Dallas first, 109 points. Colorado at 2 with 104. Utah at 3 with 94. But here's the thing. Winnipeg, 4th with 93. Minnesota, 5th with 92. So, like, his model projects a 2-point difference between 5th place Minnesota and 3rd place.
Does that not sound pretty fucking accurate?
Right. It's pretty. I'm like, yeah, it could end up that way.
I'm trusting his model more and more as you speak.
Yeah, the drop off is like St. Louis, Nashville with 87, then Chicago 74.
And in that stretch, they only play 6 Central Division games, which is helpful. And let's be real, 2 of them are Chicago and Nashville.
Right. So, yeah. And you play Nashville twice. Before Thanksgiving.
Twice?
Oh, wait. No, actually, no, I was wrong. I was looking at the wrong one. I thought they did,
okay.
But then I realized that I wrote down Nashville twice for no fucking reason earlier. But yeah, it is crazy because I look at Utah, Winnipeg, and Minnesota because, again, they're separated by 2 points, and you could put them in any order. I'd be like, yeah, that's believable. Like, that's how close. Like, it is like a fine margin for that third.
But
it's also like that 3rd place spot too. That's the thing. Is what's crazy.
Yeah, but what's crazier is Minnesota and Winnipeg need the 3. Like, just for fan confidence, which is funny because, like, you'd honestly probably rather be a wild card. Mammoth don't give a shit. They just want to be in. They just want to be part of the party, right?
Well, I mean, we talk about this with the East. It's like, are you better off being 3rd in the Atlantic or fucking wild card and like going through the Metro? like, what's the better route? And it's gonna be actually, it's even more pronounced this year that with that specifically that when you look at like the East, the playoffs, how that goes.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about his model though? Fucking the Atlantic Division. He's got Tampa Bay 102, Toronto 100, Florida 98, Ottawa 97, Buffalo 93, Boston 87, and then Detroit and Montreal 83 points. I was like, fuck that.
That doesn't sound that crazy to me.
The thing is Buffalo being 6 points better than Boston is like, I'm like, maybe, I guess. Boston, like we have David Pastrnak and 11 third lines.
The only thing in the Atlantic that would shock me is Detroit being top 6.
Yeah.
That's really the like, and Florida missing the playoffs entirely. That would shock me.
Yeah, that would it's not happening yet.
But like, it's not the craziest thing I've heard. But wait, hang on. Didn't Jay Fresh's model have Pittsburgh like number 5 in the Metro?
I mean, yeah, they're ahead of Columbus, the Islanders, and Philly.
That just doesn't track for me. That doesn't track at all.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. That's like, is 88 of those points single-handedly delivered by Sidney Crosby? Probably. Sorry, I meant 94 of those 89 points single-handedly delivered by Sidney Crosby.
And then a couple are taken away because they still remember that Jack Johnson was signed to a 5 by 3.5.
That's unbelievable. Remember Shattuck?
I'm still getting over that one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, fucking Jim.
Yeah. But anyways, again, so pre-Thanksgiving looks pretty good for Utah.
It's that
Mammoth.
Mammoth are going to be 3rd. That's what Jay Fresh says, and our math supports it.
By a massive margin.
By a massive margin.
Of 1 and 2 points. Anyways, Book of Mammoth. The greatest hockey team that's ever existed. Imagine they pull off a trade for Felix Unger-Sorum, the greatest hockey player to ever live. Holy fuck.
Ooh, that would be quite something. Honestly, I would lose my mind if they somehow got Snuggerud and Nyes there and formed the Mega line.
Hell yeah.
That'd be very fun. I would immediately go all in and just convert my entire life to Utah Mammoth Prospel.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but I intentionally pivoted Gospel to Vaclav Prospel there.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, how do I not say Gospel? and make it hockey. That's all I've played. So
well, no, it was A+ stuff actually.
There's at least 3 people out there that are like pissed and like, no, you messed up. Like, no, that's the one of the only times I'll actually say something smart.
3 feels high. That's about how many people ever tune in.
2.5. Fuck me.
That feels both. Anyways,
might as well tell everyone next week off. We're not going to compete with Vikings on Monday Night Football. There's just no point. Like, there will be 2 of you here instead of 4 of you. Not going to mess with it. And it's well overdue to just have a night off for all of you and for us. So we will be back the following week, guaranteed. Unless Z says otherwise, that it's not guaranteed anymore. But until then, it's guaranteed. And that's pretty much all I've got. I do have to say, since we usually end on quotes, when I was down in Winona, Joey's best friend from high school has like a nice setup like right on the Mississippi River, and we like went out and did some boating, did hot tub, whatever. He indulged in several forms of edible THC, and we're sitting out at the bonfire, and I'm literally just spitting different role models quotes at him, and he's pissing himself laughing. Like it is unhinged the level to which he's laughing.
Hell yeah.
And I just figured you of all people needed to hear that got him. And which one do you think really sent him? What's my favorite?
Is it, of course, he's got a fucking turtle?
No, that one was okay. The plate.
Oh.
The plate broke him. He laughed in a way that I've never heard a human laugh.
I love that, dude.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
Oh, and actually we can't end it yet because Cole just asked what happened to the watch along with Z's draft. How's the squad? The draft, my fantasy football draft, got moved. I had no idea to yesterday. Didn't know, so I was on auto draft. I didn't want to look at the rest of my team.
Didn't know because they like didn't tell you, or because you were oblivious and just like spaced on it?
Both.
Like, no, it can't be both.
There was a text that I barely read. I thought they were saying, "Hey, just a heads up, reminder, the draft's tomorrow."
Oh no.
And it's not what it said. I was like, yeah, I already know what this is going to say. So, yeah, no, I went on auto draft. Didn't even know until I got to the drop yesterday. They were like, you auto drafted? I was like, well, it's tomorrow. They're like, oh, you dumbass. I was like, oh, shit. So I went to go look. But I was like, you know what? I don't know fuck all. Let's see who my quarterback is. Thank God that they auto drafted 2 quarterbacks, but I didn't see the other one at first. I was like, Tua? Fuck. I was like, oh, no. I was like, he's gonna play 4 games and die. But I also have Trevor Lawrence, so it's like, all right, could be significantly better.
Scared for you.
I don't care. Who gives a shit? As long as I don't lose, I don't care. Or I don't come in last. I just don't want to come in last.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. No, fuck that shit. Anyways, so yeah, that's what happened.
Nice.
I just have to figure out who to play every. I'll do fantasy hockey every year, but then forget to like change my lineup ever. That's been the past 3 years. So
here's my proposition. I'm trying to come up with the best way to do it. I'm kind of stealing another concept, but Pardon My Take does a fantasy baseball draft where they call it the Dingers Only League.
Yep.
And it's literally you just get points for home runs.
Hell yeah.
Which is the only version of fantasy baseball I ever want to play. Correct. My concept, and there's a couple of different ideas I have that I've workshopped on how we would actually structure it, but peepers only. We are just going off power play points.
Oh my God.
And it could be something where like you have like requirements. You got to have like at least so many defensemen, whatever, and make it a year-long thing. But it could be like you, me, Mateo, and Isha draft, And then there's like a fifth team that's more or less a ghost team that gets just whatever's left over. And if they beat any of us, there's some kind of punishment. It's like we're all literally just competing with leftovers to avoid being punished. I think that could play. And I'll make sure you're aware when we move the draft up a day.
Yeah, I just gotta know.
I got to the drop last night having no idea. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, oh fuck, dude.
Also, who moves the draft up? Like, usually people move it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's rude.
Also, I just saw a phenomenal tweet. This was with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and TCU is beating UNC 41-7. Someone took a screenshot of the scoreboard and said, coincidentally, Bill Belichick was 41 when Jordan Hudson was 7. It's so good. I was like, oh my God. It is a crime that both teams scored one more touchdown after that. Well, actually, that worked out.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
This is what? Someone had to have been sitting there waiting for it.
Again, actually, because I was just like, it's a crime. Both teams scored one more touch. Like, oh wait, no, they both finished with 7 points. The point still stands.
So then it doesn't matter. It still works.
Good Lord.
Oh man.
Yep.
I need you to send that to me because I'm so happy that it exists.
And that's the show. We should end it.
I don't know how we can possibly do better. The second Mateo can end it, he should. That was great.